Ladies and gentlemen, don't make me laugh, for this is a Fred the Alien Productions podcast. Cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Luke, we're gonna have company!
Loud noises!
Hello.
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 I'm a Kendall Richardson.
I'm a Fulya and
And I am mourning the sweet, sweet death of a 4chan, a Michael lister.
Oh, okay.
4chan is dead.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
No longer to be
Wow.
good.
no longer TV. Yes. You are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yeah, it's experiencing it through the mediums of 4 screens, but there's nothing in there. All right? There's nothing. There's nothing there.
No.
There's no surprise guest. It's just Discord changed it, and I don't know how to get rid of it. If you're
You don't
watching,
see
Imagine-
anything.
If we had a surprise guest on the podcast, who would it be?
There is nothing in this box right here.
What's in the box? In the box.
The box.
it's the audio
Yes.
visuals thing.
Because it wouldn't be a podcast without some technical issues, which we've
Mhm.
already had. So that's just fun. It's just
Yay.
standard for us.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. But we're here.
Yes.
All 3 of us. We're here and ready to get going. So let's
Mhm.
dive into the weekly watchings. Fulia, take it away, please.
Alrighty. So, I am 1 episode away from finishing The Last of Us season 1.
Ah, goddamn. I mean, amazing, but but also damn.
I haven't watched the season finale, but I will. But I watched the penultimate episode, and I'm just like, oh boy.
It's full on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeesh. I had some emotions going in me after that episode. Not great.
Yeah. Poor Ellie.
Yeah. So there was that. And then thanks to Kendall, after recording last week, I have been binging The Food That Built the World all week. Damn it, Kendall.
Hey, you can blame Fat Man Beyond for that.
This is true.
It's
Because
spreading.
after you mentioned that, I actually did go back and listen to that episode of Batman Beyond that had Adam in it.
Yeah.
Richmond. It was a great episode, to be honest. Listening to
The
them
longest
Yeah.
ever episode of Fat Man Beyond.
4 and something hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Epic.
Yeah. But no, Adam Richmond knows his nerdy stuff. He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the Food That Built the World is crazy. I went back and started watching from season 1, which was the 3-parter sort of like mini series for the season that they did. So I've watched those, and it was crazy to think that back in the day, chocolate wasn't really a thing, and the flavor of the Hershey's chocolate has that sour note to it, and it's and Hershey himself wanted it that way because he's like, no, this is good, this is ours. So that it was, that, learning about how chips became a thing, how they got to being in packaging, like proper packaging, so they don't spoil, and they stay fresh for as long as possible. Canned food especially soup, like condensed soup from Campbell's and Heinz. It's just crazy to learn about all this sort of stuff. How McDonald's and Burger King, or what we know as Hungry Jack's, became a massive deal back in the day. The whole fast food service, man, it just blows my mind the things that you learn from these type of shows, and I love it. Like, I love it so much. My only problem is I'm on a bloody diet and I can't have half of these things. So what a time to watch a show about food.
That's all right. Just rewatch the last episode that you watched for Last of Us, and then you'll not want to eat.
Want to eat?
Want to eat anything? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, that the food that built the world is great. I'm loving the show. I'm gonna say past the halfway point of season 2 so far. So I'm just gonna keep going as long as it's there.
Amazing.
So I've been enjoying it. So thank you, Kendall, for that one.
You are welcome. Happy
Yes.
to do my bit.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I've been watching this week.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing. Of
course.
Excellent. Mike, what have you been watching this week?
Well, piggyback off Fulya, Last of Us, but I'll probably just leave it there. And funny enough, you say that episode, Fulya. Did you notice one of the actors that's in that show? But sounds familiar.
You mean a certain Troy Baker? He was playing the preacher, right?
Oh no,
No.
he's
No?
right-hand man.
Oh, which one was he? Oh, the right hand man that got the hatchet in his neck by Ellie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, that makes more sense. I honestly have not seen a proper image of him, so that's why it didn't click.
But you knew he was in the episode.
I knew he was in the episode. Yes,
Right.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he does look malnourished for eating
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
People.
People. So yeah, watch the first episode of the new series. Yep, that's good. Leave it at that. But also on Max, which is pretty much what I've been watching this week. Me and the wife have found a show that we can watch together. At last, something. We've been watching The Pit, which is pretty much like a medical procedural. It all takes place at an emergency department over in America, and it's a bit like 24 as well. So the whole series is basically one shift, one day. And yeah, it's a bit harrowing. So we're also watching Peacemaker at the same time. So just a bit of a palate cleanser and just a laugh at the end. So that was good. They're all good. I would recommend it if you can stomach actual operations happening. Yeah, but it was a bit of fun. Bit of. Yeah, it's a good show. I do recommend it being a good show. Will we get a second season? Don't know, because it's in lawsuit limbo, because the people who are creators of ER are basically trying to sue them, because originally the showrunners wanted to do like an ER sort of continuation with these characters, but they said no, so they changed the characters. But and they assume it's very similar, but you can't really own doctors in a hospital sort of scenario, especially with an emergency sort of thing. So it's happening. So who knows? But that's good. Yeah. Also on Max, I've been watching The Rehearsal, with Nathan Fielden. That's a very interesting show because I know of the first episode because it was on Gogglebox, and yeah, I thought it was going to be something, but it turned out to be something else. Where essentially it's Nathan is trying to help people to rehearse for like big scenarios. Like the first episode was about this guy who wanted to tell his friend that he doesn't really have a master's degree, but they've been going to trivia and it's been snowballing of people actually trying to find him work with that actually have like a master's degree sort of qualification, but he doesn't have the heart, and it's been going for too long down this road of trying to correct it. I think it's been like 10 years or something. So he's holding up scenarios about how to talk to this person and actually physically building the pub that they go to for trivia, so they can actually stage this sort of thing and actually getting people to play their friend, and they're trying to do that. And it's also a bit of meta commentary as well, because Nathan is trying to like talk to this guy, but he also has to do like a sort of rehearsal himself of admitting that he's wants to meet this person and actually give off a good impression for the first time. So he actually does a rehearsal himself to meet this new person who wants to tell his friend. So it's very, very, very mind crazy. and from there, and I watched the whole season, and then from there, there's a scenario that he tries to make a woman who wants to have a family, but hasn't really had the opportunity. So they actually have a house and every so instead of like having like a robotic baby, they actually have a real baby that they have to plus out because according to law you can't really have a baby actor in the can only work for like 4 hours, and then they have to swap out the next baby, and so it's all this thing. And then they want to do a 19-year sort of stretch of having a kid from baby to adulthood. So and so they want to do it in the whole 3 weeks of this kid like growing up, and it all wraps into like Nathan's own life that he wants to be a dad, so he sort of inserts himself in. It's a really crazy show, and it got me very sentimental in a weird way, because it's very funny. Yeah, I would recommend that too. And second season's coming out this year as well as Peacemaker season 2. So me and the wife have got something to watch as well. Yeah, that's basically it, except the last episode of Daredevil came out. Wow. This is a very, very jumbled show. The last 2 episodes are definitely the highlight. Like the first episode was great just to kick things off, but these last 2 definitely is like a companion piece to the first episode of where Matt Murdock is with his life, and also Kingpin is doing his thing, and very brutal. I had to stop the episode when something particularly one thing particularly happened, and I had to go for a walk because I've never seen something that horrendous before. And maybe Kendall has has seen it, so she sort of knows my trauma. It's all setting up for a good season 2. I think it was originally going to be like the mid season, because it was going to be like it was going to be an 18-run season, but they cut down to 9, and then stuff happened. So I'm glad that they've sort of halved it up because what happens at the end is a very good heel turn to what the world's going to be with especially in New York and Kingpin being the mayor and Vanessa and Bullseye gets a look in as well as Frank. Frank. I love Frank. He is a very complex human being, and you can't help but enjoy what he's doing. But it's very problematic to enjoy what he's doing. So, and the dynamic between Frank and Matt, the Punisher and Daredevil, and their ideologies sort of clashing is a lot of fun, and I'm happy that they brought back the Punisher in this because they just work very well together, and I want to see more. And I'm very happy that the Punisher is getting his own special. So, who knows what that will entail? And that's what I've been basically watching. Kendall, what have you been doing?
Yes. What have I been doing? Yes. Well, I'll just quickly mention that I watched the new Last of Us episode as well. And I won't talk too much about it because Fulya hasn't seen it yet. And hopefully by next week we'll be able to have a discussion about the first couple episodes, season 2, see how we go. But I just will say that I really liked it, and it's a good setup for what's to come, and it has me excited and nervous at the same time. So
Yeah.
yay!
It's really strange because where they have the entire episode is actually right before you start playing the game, which is kind of a weird way of doing it. But it does have elements of what happens within the game as well, with characters heading off and searching for stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it. Yes, Daredevil finished this week. Its 9th and final episode of the season. Yeah, Mike, that scene was... I couldn't believe it when it happened because I was just like, that's the most violent thing ever in the MCU, I think.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of... I mean, I know we've seen Deadpool and Wolverine and... but that's different. That's comedic. That's funny. That's like for sure, specifically done to, be entertaining. This was dark as fuck.
Yeah.
And really represented a turning point for Kingpin. Like, he's really just he's trying to be the mayor. He was trying to be the mayor, and he was trying to like not do. But I feel like as soon as Matt Murdock started doing, Daredevil-y things again, that's when he's like, well, if all bets are off, then let's fucking go. You wanted this, I'm here. And he just gives zero fucks now. And it's really good though. But like, that was so violent. That was... Fulya, you would not have been okay watching it. It was something out of a horror film almost. Just the graphic nature of it. It was wow. Even I was just like, oh, and I love that shit.
And I thought decapitating someone with a car door was bad.
Yeah. No, it gets so much worse. But anyway, that aside, really good finale. Now that I've sort of what you were hinting at, Mike, but now that I've seen like the whole season, I'm kind of... You're seeing what was originally there versus what they added in after the changes were announced, and they've kind of patched it up as best they can. I think it succeeds on the whole. It'll be interesting to watch it or revisit it in a binge and see how it flows. But I think it's okay. Like, I think they did a good enough job. I'm just really glad Karen came back.
Yeah.
Because I love Karen. And they had a couple of really nice scenes together and some really great setup and of course, like you said, Punisher's there as well. And the scene in Matt's apartment with all the dirty cops coming in. That was really, really good.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
hype.
so there's a lot to love about Daredevil. Yeah, it was really, really good. So I think they've definitely had a very successful first season, and I can't wait to see the second season. I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yeah, and then the other thing I just will mention, that I started watching, this weekend, the new season of Black Mirror. That's come out on Netflix. 6 episodes. All of them are average about an hour long. And I've watched half of it already, and it's really good. It just continues to be an exceptional show. A fantastic commentary on our society and obsession with technology and AI and apps and all of that jazz. It's just really clever. And the first episode is still my favorite of the season so far. Like the other two I watched were really, really interesting, but the first episode was basically it was so I was laughing because it was so fucked. It's basically this happy married couple. One of them gets like brain cancer or something, and they end up having to do this radical surgery where they clone the damaged brain tissue and store it in a server. Then they take out the fucked tissue, put in this artificial thing, and then if you pay a subscription once a month, you can live your life like everything's fine, but you can't go out of range of the cell service towers, or you will
I'm
cease
sorry,
to
what?
function. Yeah, it's basically like a medical streaming service, and then it goes on and on, like they're on the
Life
standard
support
one.
on subscription?
Basically,
Yeah.
basically, you're on the standard tier, and then they're like, oh, but we've just started rolling out our new plus tier, so you've got to subscribe to that.
No.
It's extra hundreds of dollars a month, and
Wow.
that'll let you go out further. You'll get to do more things, and they don't want to pay it, and it's this whole thing, and it just
That's
keeps
weird.
going worse. It was so good.
Wow.
It was so good because then you know what started happening, right? And Fulya, you'll love this, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you will. It's very topical. Basically, when they roll out the plus subscription tier, the standard tier that they were on now comes with ads. So
No.
at one point, the woman, she dissociates and starts reading off ads. I thought it was fucking genius.
Whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
that's triggering, right?
Yeah. It was so good. It was so clever and so funny and really messed up. And there's other stuff that happens that I'm not going to go into.
Yeah. Oh,
but
goodness.
But yeah, it was brilliant. So if you're going to watch any episode of Black Mirror this year, make it Common People, the first episode. It's just great.
Coin
Amazing.
operated.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Fucking incubator.
So funny. Oh, and it ended really tragically. So it's just it was one of those bad ending ones, but it was great. I had a great time watching it. I thought it was brilliant. Anyway, cool. So that's my weekly watchings. That means the weekly watchings for all of us are now done, and that means it's time to get into the week that was in the nerdy news.
Nerdy news. Where is it? There it is.
This is the news in Nerdy News. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
Okay, it's nerdy news time. And that means it's time to talk about Star Wars Celebration.
But it's not.
Let's go.
May the 4th.
Yeah, they didn't do it in May. I didn't realize when we were talking about it last week that it was actually happening in April. but here we are. Star Wars Celebration in Japan has happened this weekend. And some pretty cool things have come out of it. We're just going to talk about a few of them. Starting with, we have confirmation that Ryan Gosling is indeed joining A Galaxy Far, Far Away. He will be starring in Sean Levy's upcoming Star Wars feature. We knew he was already attached to direct as well, but we now have a title, and that is Star Wars Starfighter.
Like
so
the
cool.
game.
That's coming out in 2027. Like the game. Oh, is there a Starfighter Star Wars game? Is there?
I think there is. I think it used to be like a really old one that used to use joystick.
Ah, old school. Yeah. So this one's coming out in a couple of years, and yeah, they haven't given away too many of the details of what it's going to be about, but all they have said is that it's going to take place 5 years after the events of Rise of Skywalker. So we haven't gone past Rise of Skywalker in the linear narrative yet, so that's kind of cool. And the other thing they wanted to stress is that it's a contained story. It's not going to be connected to the Skywalker saga, nor will it reference any events, apparently. I mean, I'm sure it'll reference something, but it's not going to be, they're not going to be talking about Rey, they're not going to be talking about Ben Solo or, any of it. We're not going there. So that's also kind of exciting. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and I didn't realize Ryan Gosling, I mean, he's human, I guess, but I didn't realize he was a big Star Wars fan. Talked about how when he was cast, his mum sent him a photo of his Star Wars bed sheets from when he was a kid.
That's cute.
Which is really cute. And he was wearing a hat that had the words "Never tell me the odds" on it, which I was like, I see you in your Han Solo references. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, it is a Star Wars reference.
But yeah. It's not Hunger Games reference. It's a Star Wars reference. It's not cross the streams. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Sean Levy's definitely proven himself in the directorial field, especially with the sci-fi stuff. I mean, the Adam Project was great. Free Guy was great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what he brings to Star Wars, and to see Ryan Gosling in some kind of capacity. Whatever this Starfighter means, who knows? But we'll find out in 2027. Fulya, how are you feeling about this little bit of news?
Hey, I'm excited to see Ryan Gosling in the galaxy far, far away. It's gonna be pretty cool. Just being able to see him in something that's more fantasy than it is sort of like fantasy sci-fi, than kind of more real life-esque kind of a deal. I do want to watch him in Fall Guy, the one where he's the stuntman.
You would like that movie.
Yeah,
I think. Like, it's an action
like
comedy.
To watch that.
Yeah, you'd enjoy it. Yeah, it's a good one.
And Emily Blunt, like, come on.
Yeah, she's great.
So yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like Ryan Gosling, as soon as after the whole Barbie thing, he's now kind of booming a bit more in popularity. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing him in the Star Wars franchise. So it's going to be good, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm very curious to find out about what his character's your personality is going to be like.
Oh, he's going to be a rogue.
The one thing I will mention, one thing I will say, it's been listed that it's going to be filmed here in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, they're filming at Fox Studios, are they?
Probably.
That's
Disney
exciting.
Studios in Sydney. Yep.
Ooh.
Ryan Gosling has always been my favorite Australian.
We can claim him as our own now.
I mean,
Ryan.
Plus side, that means that there might be some Aussies in the cast then.
Maybe, yeah.
Because
that
really happened. That happened when they filmed the prequels here, so that could be fun.
yeah, no, but looking forward to Star Wars Starfighter. Looks like just need some more information now. Just
Yes.
what is this story going to be about? Is what I want to know.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Details. We need
Mhm.
details. Excellent. Mike, what are you thinking about this film? Does it grab your interest yet?
Well, yeah, I'm going to watch any Star Wars bullshit and love it and enjoy it. Maybe, I don't know. And I like the fact that Ryan is starting to do some. He's in this interesting era in his career where, yeah, ever since after doing Barbie movie and The Fall Guy, he can start choosing some weird shit. Like, he's started his own production company and he's actually going to be doing a remake of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I thought, awesome. He is a fucking nerd. Yeah, a very sexy nerd. They're rare. Anyway.
Yes.
I can't wait for that. I love Killer Clowns. Put that on the list, Fulya. You need to watch that. You should. You should.
Seriously,
I've never seen it.
I don't think I want to.
It's funny and fun. Yeah. Looking forward to this. Sean Levy, he can film a movie. That's good. Yeah.
You sure
Cool.
can.
That's all I can say. Give me a trailer and I'll make my decision.
Nice. We're all excited. Yes. That's what we want. Well, probably going to wait a little bit for that, but I'm sure it'll be worth it. But until then, in our next bit of news out of Star Wars Celebration, some Ahsoka news, these next two little bits. Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker himself, confirmed to be returning for Ahsoka Season 2, which is really, really exciting. Apparently, well, Hayden was very, very pleased to be a part of the first season and go into the World Between Worlds stuff. Like, we all really loved that. I remember, us discussing that. Like, that episode is I think for me, still the highlight of Ahsoka Season 1. So I'm looking forward to going back there if that's how we do it. Apparently, Dave Filoni is gonna figure out some way to bring him into the story, whatever he comes up with. They just want to get Anakin and Ahsoka back together somehow.
Probably in a flashback or something.
Maybe a flashback, yeah. I mean, they did a really good job of making Hayden Christensen look like Clone Wars Anakin, so they'll definitely be able to do that again. So that's really exciting. They're about to go into filming on Season 2 at the end of the month, I think, or at the end of the celebration. I feel like they all jet off to wherever they film this, probably in England, or maybe in America, I don't know. But yeah, I'm keen for more Anakin. Yes, yeah, I love this is the Anakin Renaissance era right now. It's great. 20 years after Revenge of the Sith, and here we are.
The redemption arc.
The redemption arc. The love has never been stronger. It's really, really good. I'm very happy about it. I'm imagining you guys are sharing my sentiments, but Fulya, how are you feeling about Hayden coming back once again?
Hey, look, I'm gonna be keen to see him come back to Ahsoka, but the way that they brought him back in Season 1 as was he like the what do you call it, Force Ghost?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
While she was in that specific sort of plane of existence in between being dead and alive.
Yeah, World Between Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, the World Between Worlds, that's the one. So that was interesting. So yeah, no, I'm keen to see where the story goes, how they bring in Anakin again into Season 2. Like I said, potentially a flashback. But it'd be nice to see more of the stuff that happened in Clone Wars in the animated series brought into live action, kind of, because that was actually really cool when we saw some of those flashbacks in the first season. So I'm keen to see what they do with this, like how they bring in him again, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm keen.
Nice. What about you, Mike? You looking forward to seeing some more Anakin?
I want Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan Kenobi in the same scene, please.
Oh my god.
You can do it. Just do that, and I'll be happy. Then I won't write off this entire show. That's all I want. Cool. Hayden Christensen's coming back. Sweet. Get Ewan McGregor, please. And I'm done.
Nice. I love it. All right. Next bit of news is also Ahsoka related. They showed off the first look ever of Rory McCann as Balin Skull. Now, of course, we're all very aware Ray Stevenson sadly passed away just before the first season debuted. And, you know, I think I can speak for us all when I say we loved Balin Skull in the first season. He was one of the best new characters introduced, and Ray embodied him and elevated him in an incredible manner, and we're all very sad that he's obviously not returning. But they clearly had plans, as was set up at the end of Ahsoka season 1. So they've decided to recast, and I think they've done a very good job with recasting Rory McCann in the role. He most famous, of course, for playing the Hound in Game of Thrones. Was also in Hot Fuzz.
Yarp, he was.
Which is Yarp. Yeah, Yarp he was. Yeah, great actor. Definitely has the physicality for it, and I feel like he will carry the same gravitas that Ray did. And the word is that they're talking about as they've been going through pre-production is that he very much understands the responsibility of the role he's taking over, and that he wants to, you know, give it everything he has to honor Ray and to continue the story, the journey of the character. And you know, the way that they've apparently the writers are the way they've continued it as well. That basically, in their minds, they're thinking that Ray would have been very proud of the direction they've taken Balin Skull in for the second season. So, but yeah. We got a couple of photos of him in the outfit with the beard and everything, and he looks great. So, yeah, it's bittersweet, of course, but it's nice to see that they've found a way to be respectful and honor Ray's memory, and to continue the Balin Skull story. So and that's another thing about Ahsoka season 2. I'll be looking forward to seeing. So yeah, it's. I'm getting emotional because I'm like, it's sad. But no, it happens, unfortunately, and we'll just. Rory McCann's very talented, so he'll do a very good job. I have no doubts. Fulya, how are you feeling about it? Have you seen the photos, and do you have any thoughts?
Actually, haven't seen the images of Rory McCann as Balin Skull, so I think maybe I want to go in blind. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I mean, I can put them in the chat if you want.
Sure, why not?
Let me find them. Hang on, I'm gonna mute.
Yeah. So no, Rory McCann. It sounds like he's a really good sort of casting, and like I've seen him playing the Hound in Game of Thrones, and he's really good. So I don't know. If I've seen him in anything else. Have I? I think I've seen. Have I seen Hot Fuzz? I can't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, no, it seems like they've made a good choice in Rory. So I would be very keen to see how he brings Balin Skull alive again. So yeah, it'll be really interesting. But yeah, I don't know, because Ray Stevenson was great, and sad that he's passed away. But the fact that they've said that they've, like, especially considering the way that character's in the first season, the way that character ended he like you could tell there was something going on. They wanted to continue his story of for Bale and Skull, and so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So we'll see. Oh yeah. I'm just looking at the image now. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it looks like I think he'll be able to pull it off. Yeah, for sure.
Mm. Yeah, I think so. I
Mm.
think so.
He kind of reminds me of Count Dooku.
Yeah, kind of. All Siths are just alike, aren't they?
hmm
Mike, how are you feeling about the you know, just seeing Balin being portrayed by a new actor? How does how are your expectations at this point?
Well, I'm gonna go in like very minimal bar because it is a it is a huge ask and a huge task to replace a beloved character as well as the actor playing him. So I don't envy someone doing that. I mean, it has been done before when there's an actor no longer with us, but it's they were playing a pitiful a an important role, and looks like there was more to his story, and so they needed to somehow find a way to actually continue that story. So yeah, I'm all for it. It is bittersweet. It is sad, but it's there's no way going around it unless they do something really egregious, like doing a CGI face over. They do
Nah.
they do a government attacking, but I know there's precedent for that, but no, you don't need it's too close to the bone for that, and too soon, I reckon. I think just a replacement, but don't do a full on copy, like make it your own role, and see if you can find stuff for it. I mean, yeah. So cool. Yarp.
Yarp. Yarp. Okay, speaking of things that are yarp, the last bit of news out of Star Wars Celebration we're going to touch on is we have a new animated series on the way. And this is, of course, focusing more, speaking of Siths, on the darker side of the Force, because this series is entitled Maul Shadow Lord. And the really cool thing is that Sam Witwer, who voiced Darth Maul in the animated canon, he will be returning once again to play Darth Maul. And yeah, he's got his own show, which is just kind of wild, but really exciting. And I love the logo. As Kevin Smith would say, it's very metal. It looks really cool. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see and maybe perhaps learn more about his character, considering he's going to be the the main focus. Apparently, it's going to be following Maul as he's plotting to rebuild his criminal syndicate, which is Crimson Dawn, on a planet untouched by the Empire. They showed some footage in the room of the show. There's a lot of footage across everything that they showed at the event, but obviously it's not being made public. But I'm sure there are ways. But yeah, apparently there's some cool stuff on the way in this show. I can't wait to kind of learn more about him. I think it's because it's taking place after the final season of the Clone Wars. And obviously he played a big part in that final season as well. So, yeah, I can't wait. I love Sam Witwer as well. He's a great actor, and he does a great Darth Maul. So it's really cool to see that they're bringing him back one more time. So, yeah, I look forward to popcorn culturing it on this one next year. This is coming out in 2026, very soon. Very, very soon. Fulia, are you excited about Maul Shadow Lord?
Yeah, look, Maul was an interesting character in the Clone Wars, and being out, seeing him pop up every now and again, obviously it was a big threat for, the Jedis, and it was really interesting that he was very close to getting Ezra on his side in Rebels as well, which was really it got very sort of worrisome for Ezra there, and I was just like, I don't know. He might. But yeah, no, Darth Maul is a very complex character, and I think this particular show that he's getting now might be able to give us a bit more of a explanation, maybe a bit of a history of his background, as to when we might get flashbacks potentially in this series. I'm not quite sure, but it'll be interesting to learn about how he got to this point. Uh, where where did it all start for him? Why did he end up becoming a Sith Lord and all that sort of stuff? So that'll be interesting to find out. So I'm hoping they kind of touch on that here in Maul Shadow Lord. But the fact that we're getting Sam Witwer back for the voice, yeah, look, we got to keep it with the OGs, right? I'm glad that they've got the same voice actor to come back to do the voice. Because continuity, consistency, he's got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Then why didn't they hire Peter Serafinowicz?
Peter Serafinowicz.
Yeah, him. Speaking of the Cornetto trilogy, he was the original voice, and they shafted him.
Oh, of Darth Maul.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well.
I don't know.
Sorry, Peter. Sorry, Peter. Okay, Mike, what are your thoughts on this new Darth Maul series?
Pretty cool. It's cool that they are finding a different avenue for the animated series, because it was like, since Clone Wars, as well as what they've been doing with all the other stuff, including Rebels and all that, of just making very enthralling TV shows, like with the Bad Batch and all the others. It's just riveting television. Bearing in mind it is for children, but I'm glad they're sort of pushing the envelope as well. As it's not just for kids, it's actually good storytelling as well. So I'm glad that they're continuing on with it. And the last time we saw Maul in this era was at the remembering Han Solo, the Solo movie, where Maul makes a brief cameo of him being the crime lord that they're actually referring to. So it'll be good to actually delve more into that. And yeah, Sam's just great, and just hearing that scream of Kenobi all over again it's just great. So yeah, it will be interesting if they do little flashbacks of where they are and stuff like that. I mean, there's so much Maul in the animated series that's what else can you do? It will be very interesting what they're going to tackle, because he does turn up in Rebels as well, and stuff happens there. I don't think Kendall knows, but anyway. Yeah.
I know what happens to Darth Maul. I know his end. That's all I know.
Maybe. I mean, he did fall down a chasm and he lost legs. And then magic. And then magic happened and he got his legs back.
Magic happened. Oh my
Magic
God.
happens. So yeah, I can't wait to watch this and talk about it on the pod.
Yes, let's go next year. Bring it on. Okay, that's the nerdy news. That's all the Star Wars news we have to discuss, which means it's time to roll on up to the trailer park.
Rolling up to the trailer park will be all part of the
trailers. Bam, 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 bam.
Yes, trailer park time, and we're gonna kick things off this week with our second trailer. Almost at first then. So I was looking at first steps because it is the Fantastic Four first steps. It's the second.
The first
trailer.
steps of the second trailer.
This is
First trailer of the second steps.
Yes. So this is kind of more of our story trailer. We get a little bit more closer to the characters here and seeing what's going on. I was not expecting to see Mark Gatiss at the beginning playing an American talk show host. I thought that was kind of fun, like an Ed Sullivan type. But no, I kind of like how they're framing this movie. It's clearly it's clear, I suppose, that the Fantastic Four here are already established. Like, they already have their powers. We'll probably see in the opening of the film how that happened. I imagine there'll be similar to how they do it in this trailer, it'll probably be expanded upon, and they'll show us them going up into space and what happened to them and them coming back.
Previously on the Fantastic
I like
Four.
the fact that... But I kind of love the fact that, you know, they seem to be clearly loved by their planet, loved by their city, and embraced, even though, you know, they're not normal anymore. And I know the movies have kind of sort of tackled that. I feel like I remember the original 2000s movies sort of going into that sort of stuff. But here it's just you know, they've bypassed it all maybe. But clearly they're still going to have their, like, Ben Grimm always seems to have a struggle with, you know, going from looking completely normal to, you know, looking like a giant humanoid rock. But I don't know. But yeah, but it looks cool. And then, you know, we got our first glimpse of the female Silver Surfer, Shala Bal, played by Julie Garner. And, you know, of course, she's the envoy of Galactus, and we get to see what I'm guessing are his footsteps at the end of this trailer. That was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. This trailer gave me a lot of warm and fuzzy feelings. Like I'm really starting to feel the hype for this movie. Like, I already was, but you know, Fantastic Four, as we know, is something that theatrically they haven't really gotten right yet. So I don't know. I've got a good feeling about this. I don't want to get too excited, just in case. But the way they put this trailer together, I think they did a very good job of kind of drawing you in and making you feel something for these characters. Like, I feel like we're already connecting with them. And it was cool to see, just for a few seconds, Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal, actually do a bit of stretchy, which had me like cheering. I was like, yes, let's go. He's doing the thing he's supposed to do. Yeah. So yeah, this was a great trailer. I'm hyped. I'm ready for July for this. Bring it on. Fulya, how did this trailer go for you?
Yeah, look, I won't say I'm as excited as you, Kendall.
Oh, a few people are.
But I am still interested in seeing this in the cinema, of course. And it'll be good fun to watch. You know, it did give me the sort of very homey, sort of family loving kind of a vibe happening in this particular trailer. Especially with Sue Storm, you know, pregnant and about to have a baby. So that was interesting. And yeah, it looks like it's gonna be good. Obviously, there's, you know, a devastation that's about to happen, and the Fantastic Four are going to protect the Earth for whatever happens, whatever comes to them. I'm more sort of interested in hearing the voice of Galactus.
Yeah.
That is going to be something that's going to probably, I don't know, it's probably going to blow my mind or it's going to send shivers down my spine. I don't know what to expect. So, but the fact that what's his name that's voicing him? Ralph Ineson.
Thank you. I was just looking for his name. Well done.
The
Well
fact
done.
that he's going to be voicing Galactus is going to be epic.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. His voice is so iconic. And I love hearing his voice. So, yeah, look, I think that's, I like, I'm not as hyped, but it's a Marvel movie, so I'm still going to go watch it. And it's going to teach me a little bit about this family because I haven't really gotten to know these characters very well. And the fact that we're going back into sort of like history where it's more a period piece, it'll be fascinating it'll be fantastically fascinating.
I see what you did there.
Ah.
What? Excellent. Thanks, Fulya. That's. I like your honesty. Okay, Mike. How about you? How are you feeling after the second trailer?
I didn't need it because I'm going to watch it regardless, and I'm very excited for it. I'm really enjoying the vibe, the retro futuristic vibe of the entire thing, and yeah, just a family. They're very focusing on family, as well as it's going to be a couple of kids as well, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Is just the first time we've seen a superhero being pregnant and doing their stuff in live action. Yeah, all for it. Women can do anything. Really good. Silver Surfer, that's great. And Galactus's feet for Feet Wiki. Is it Feet Wiki? Something like that. So we've seen the back of the head. We've seen feet. We just need face. I think we've seen eyes, but I think that was just for Comic-Con. And we need... we don't need Fart Cloud anymore, which is good. No more Fart Cloud.
No more Fart Cloud.
Would they make
We're
fun
done
of
with
it?
Fart Cloud.
Fart. Oh, good.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't really...
So
can't
Fantastic
really
Four
think of
First Steps is going to come out on the 24th of July.
Nice.
Okay. An X trailer is actually my excitement is on par for this one as is the previous trailer for obvious reasons. I'm sure you're both aware. But we're going to talk about the trailer for The Life of Chuck. This is a film that's been on my radar for a long time because it stars Tom Hiddleston.
Who dat?
Yeah, so I've who's that? Loki himself is in this one. Not playing Loki, which is great. Haven't seen him do anything else for a long time, so yeah, I'm really keen to watch this for a lot of reasons. Not just Tom, but you know, it's a Stephen King adaptation. It's written and directed by Mike Flanagan, who Mike, you and I are big fans of. With his work on Doctor Sleep and or you know, a lot of the Netflix horror series he's done, and he's definitely got a good vibe for adapting Stephen King. So like it just seems like it's going to work. And this movie, you know, it played the festivals last year. Got a lot of good praise out of it. As you see in the trailer, it won the audience award at TIFF, the Toronto Film Festival. Which is really good. The cast on this one, not just Tom Hiddleston, but you've got some absolutely fantastic names here. You've got Chiwetel Ejiofor, Karen Gillan, Mark Hamill. It's a stellar cast. And it looks like it's just gonna tell this kind of beautiful, poignant story about the life of this one person, who is Chuck. And but apparently, it's the premise of it. It ties into the end of the world or something. Like there's some kind of apocalyptical thing happening, and it's connected to Chuck. Somehow, I haven't read the novella the movie's based on. I have no idea, so I'm going in blind to this. But I have high expectations. I'm not gonna lie. So if this if this turns out to be not so good, then I've got myself to blame, I suppose. But I don't know. I feel like there's too many good things in here. I'd be surprised if it's not a good one. But I'm just excited too to see Tom Hiddleston dancing in a movie, like the way he's dancing in some of these clips. And like I was reading something he said recently that he loves to dance. He's been known to do a bit of dancing on talk shows or like on set. He has like dance parties and stuff. So he loves dancing, but he was saying that he's never really had to do the kind of dancing that they do in the movie. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it looks heartwarming and wholesome, and I feel like it'll be a good one. So yeah, I look forward to another trailer, please. I would like to see a bit more of the story to understand exactly what it is about. Because it doesn't really show you much, I will say. Like, there's a lot of clips of different people and different times of Chuck's life, but you don't really see or understand what is actually going on. But so it's a good teaser trailer in that sense. Yeah, what did you think, Fulya?
I have no idea what to expect out of this. This trailer gave me nothing to really hold on to in terms of like what the story is. I have no clue. I know it's about a guy named Chuck, but that's as far as I got. Everything else just washed over me, and I'm like, okay. And then my brain went, but Stephen King's really known for horror. Like, that's his usual genre. What's this? This doesn't look like a horror. I don't know what's going on. I was so confused.
I think that's why they preface the trailer with the based on the book by Stephen King, who's the author of Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile.
Yeah.
Like they focused on that he's non-horror, and Stand By Me, like he's non-horror stories that are successful as well. Yeah. But yeah, when you think of Stephen King, you think of It, and you think of exactly. You think of Cujo, you think of The Shining, like you think of all that stuff. So.
That is exactly where my brain went, and I'm like, I don't know. Like my brain just did not want to like understand in a way. So, like, do I want to see this? Am I gonna get scared? Are there gonna be unintentional jump? I don't know. So, I might see it. I'm curious. I am mildly curious to know what this story is about. I will say. So maybe once I watch it, my confusion will sort of blow over. But I just don't know what to expect in terms of the story, because I haven't read the books either, because I'm not really a Stephen King fan. So, yeah, look, I'm curious. I'm curious. That's all I've got.
Nice. Well, curious is better than not curious, so I'll take it. I'll take it. Mike, I'm curious.
Yo.
Speaking of curious, I'm curious for your thoughts, especially on this one. How did this trailer go for you?
Interesting. I've sort of read the novella. It doesn't go for long, and yeah, it's a bit not necessarily narrative driven. It's more of a it's more like someone reading a letter in a way. So there's going to be a lot of what's the word? A lot of artistic integrity, like going into it, and
Right.
and going into
Artistic license.
Artistic license. That's it.
Hmm.
And how's it go? And it looks like a very charming movie. It's not giving away too much, which is very interesting because all you got is it's the story about Chuck, this guy called Chuck, and we're seeing bits of his life. So very interesting. And yeah, when people think Stephen King, they think scary. Sort of the same as when you think Mike Flanagan, also scary. So what is this movie? Is it scary or not? But you know, you can always.
That's what got me so confused.
Yeah. So sort of out of the norm, but it's good to be out of the norm every now and again. I mean, I do enjoy the sort of Stephen King, like, different aspect. I am a Stephen King fan, and I do like the Shawshank and the Green Mile every now and again, and also the Stand By Me. But mostly he writes about family. Writes about he knows how to tell a good yarn and actually create like characters and character driven sort of stories, and not necessarily down the horror. It's more to do with what these stories are about people and how they fit within life and how they affect life as well. So I'm interested in watching this, as well as all the people that are in it. It's great and cool beans. So now I'll remember, when is this coming out?
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer than the United States, because this is coming out in June in the US. But here in Australia, we won't be seeing The Life of Chuck until the 21st of August.
Ah, damn, Indy.
Okay. That's like 2 months. Like,
yeah, why? I don't know. Weird.
It's old school.
Hopefully they bring it forward, but that's, yeah, it is old school.
What is this?
Getting
Australia
so
cinema
later.
through the 90s? So we don't get squat.
Yeah. Yes, looking forward to it. All right. Our third and final trailer this week is for not an adaptation of a comic book or a novella. This is an adaptation of a film that's already come out. This is The Roses. And I'm definitely watching this. I mean, mostly for the cast, really, because it's got a fantastic cast. You know, Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman, Shooty Gut was in this as well. Cool to see him here. But yeah, it looks good. Like, it looks like an interesting sort of tale about a once prosperous marriage just kind of crumbling. And just, I'm kind of liking the little glimpses of the petty banter and stuff that they were hurling at each other, and you know, the situations that each of them find themselves in. So, and Alison Janney's playing a lawyer. Andy Samberg is here. Kate McKinnon's here. So it's got a really good cast. But like I said, I'm mostly in it for the cast. But yeah, I think it could be an entertaining film, maybe a bit of a black comedy or a straight up drama. I mean, yeah, the vibes are interesting. But it looks good, and yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Fulya, what did you make of The Roses?
It caught me off guard halfway through the trailer. It looked like it was going to be this really cute little rom-com, you know, picture perfect couple. They've both like got their own sort of dream careers and all that sort of stuff. But then Benedict Cumberbatch's character, he's fired from his job, and then everything goes downhill from there. I'm like, what? What instigated all of this? Jeez. But I suppose it's also the jealousy he has of his wife's success. With her, I think she's a chef in her own restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she gets to travel and all that sort of thing. And yeah, like it just escalated so hard and so quick. I'm not sure what to make of it. Like here's the thing. If Kate McKinnon wasn't in this, then maybe I would have been more inclined to watch it. I'm not the biggest fan of her comedy. I will point that out right now.
Oh.
I'm not a huge fan of her comedy. It's very cringy. And the stuff that she does in this movie, from what I've seen in the trailer, is very cringy.
She's a woman that knows what she wants.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Very direct. But I feel like she plays that role so much in so many things that I've seen. Like, I know she's not really the lead character in this movie. She's just like a supporting character and all that sort of stuff. But like, I get it. But it kind of put me off a little just because of that. So now I'm like, do I really want to watch it? Can I put up with that kind of cringy comedy? I don't know.
Well, I'll watch it and I'll let you know how cringy she is.
Okay. Like I know it's not necessarily she's gonna be front and center or anything like that, so we probably won't even see her much in the film anyway. But yeah, anyway. But no, it looks like it's gonna be a dramedy and it's just going to be chaos that just builds and builds and builds until it just blows over somehow. But yeah, it looks like it might be some popcorn fun.
That it might be.
Yeah.
That it might be. All right, Mike, what did you make of The Roses?
I watched this out of my own fruition because I like the people that are in it. And when I watched it for the first time and the sort of turn happens, it's like, oh. And my first thing was, I'm not sure if I like this. I'm not that big a fan of domestic violence. And I don't know, because of my old age now, it's sort of it's going to be one of those things that I don't like watching, because I love I, Tonya, that movie, but when stuff happens in that, I had a big effect happen to me and I didn't like it, and I have really watched it since. But I do like that film. This sort of gave me the same feel. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's a satirical black comedy, and it's doing the funny side of domestic violence. It's like, okay, but I don't know if I would watch it myself. And even though it's got a lot of cool people in it, including Kate McKinnon, which I don't mind. But you know, it's very rare that comedies are coming out, which is great. And it's Am I being overly sensitive? It's supposed to be a comedy after all. You're supposed to laugh at it, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Maybe you'll be watching this by yourself, Kendall. I don't know. But we'll see when it comes out.
I'll report back. I'll let you know. All right. Well, The Roses will be coming out also in August here in Australia on the 28th.
Yeah. A day before the Americas. Well, sort of 2 days. I think. I hate this delay.
That's fun, isn't it? All right. That's Trailer Park. Guys, we're done. with the trailer park. We're rolling on out because it's time for the wibbly,
Whoa.
the wobbly,
Yeah.
the timey, the wimey.
Pew, pew, pew.
It's time.
It's a Sharpie.
It's time for
Popcorn culture.
Woo.
yes, we're talking Who. We're talking Who. It's time to talk some Who, and of course, we are here to discuss the latest episode of the new Who, episode 2 of the new season, entitled Lux.
The new Who of
Cool.
episode 2.
My overall thoughts. Episode 2 of the new Who. Yes, my overall thoughts on this one. I really like this episode. I knew I was going to when I saw bits of it in the marketing, in the teaser trailers, and all of that. Because it takes place at a cinema. It's about film. It's about breaking the fourth wall. It's about embracing fandom and blurring the lines between fiction and fact, and just it was just a great episode. I think this is one of my favorites of Shooty Gut Was Run so far. It's definitely up there for me. I enjoyed it from top to tail. It was really cool and really fun as well. So I'm looking forward to discussing with you guys what you thought. But yeah, it was great. I had a really good time with Lux. What about you, Fulya?
Yeah, look, honestly, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this episode very much. I loved that, like you, Kendall, for you it was the cinema. For me, it was animation.
Hey.
I got to see animation. And
Yeah, sorry. And with me, Doctor Who. We ticked all the boxes.
All the boxes are
all of
ticked.
it.
Yeah. This is a podcast called Fred aimed Doctor Who episode.
Yep, most definitely. Although I will say I am slightly disappointed on the amount of animation we got from this episode. It wasn't much apart from that one character.
No.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be for a lot longer, to be fair. Because that's the feeling I got from the trailer. No, I know it's expensive, but I was hoping that it would last a little bit longer than like 2 minutes. Just for one scene, and they're animated, and poof, they're back to being real life again. So yeah, look, it was definitely a good episode. It was fun. It was interesting. I got a little weirded out towards the end because of the things that happen, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. Also, and I had no clue, like it didn't click, but I'm looking at the cast list right now. Mr. Ring-a-Ding was voiced by Alan Cumming.
I couldn't put my finger on whose voice it was. Alan Cumming, nice.
Alan Cumming. I'm like, wow, really? That's cool.
He did a very good job.
He did, very much so. I did enjoy the voice acting very much for Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and what a name, Mr. Ring-a-Ding.
Yeah. Very clever.
Yeah. But
nice.
no, overall it was a good episode.
Mike, what did you make of this one?
I really enjoyed this episode, and at the moment, I know it being the second episode, my favorite episode of the season so far, and almost probably my favorite episode of the new Who, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's
close
up there for me.
Yeah, close tie with probably. I don't know. I kind of like Boom because it's was
Boom's
simple
good.
and but I got different stuff out of it. But this was a really cool premise a unique villain, and we'll get into that later. And just just a story that sort of just set itself up and just played along like brilliantly. I don't know. Maybe they could have dwelled more into when they went into the film. They could have played with it a bit more instead of what we got, and they can like jump around through different narratives or anything like that. But I really enjoyed what we got, and this is when Doctor Who is firing on all cylinders, and it was great. I do recommend if I was to show people what modern Doctor Who is like, I would probably show them this particular episode of just wacky, crazy, and science fiction that is borderline sort of mysterious and fantasy cool. Fantasy's cool. I can't speak. Hello, hi. It's a good film. Good show. Good show.
Good show. Good show. Yes. Yeah. So basically, the premise we have is the Doctor and Belinda end up going back to 1952 because it's we were wondering last week how going backwards was going to help them go forwards because obviously the TARDIS is refusing to go to May 24, 2025. But he's come up with this device, which is he called a vortex indicator and then called it a vindicator for short, which I thought was really cute. So he's kind of using that as a way to help them lock on to May 24th. And transport themselves from a different time point into there and drag the TARDIS with them. It was all very wibbly wobbly timely wimey stuff. But as an idea, I think it works. But clearly next week it's not going to work because we saw in the teaser they're definitely not in 2025 on Earth in next week's episode. But yeah, 1952 Miami, Florida is the setting. Now, I don't know if I want to start off with some of the heavier themes that they bring up in this episode, like the segregation, and all of that they touch on. Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts just to say. Obviously, they've got to mention it because you have two colored people here that are your main characters, and they're going into a time and a part of the world at that time that was not acceptive of them. But they don't go into it as much as they probably could, and I think that's okay. I don't think this episode was the time or place to kind of really go into that kind of a story. That's not the story that they were telling. But it's important that they acknowledge it and not brush it under the rug. I just kind of wish they'd reflected it a bit better in the people that they come across, albeit they don't come across too many people in the episode because they arrive and it's the middle of the night and the diner across the road from the cinema is open and the kid who's in charge is just like, who cares? No one's here. You can come in and sit down. We're not going to worry about it. So, and then they talk to the mum and she doesn't have any, you don't see her being weird about, speaking with non-white people and then the projectionist as well, nothing gets mentioned. So it's just interesting that they touch on it, but then they also, it's not reflected in the people they interact with very much. So I don't know if it's worth mentioning at all, if they're not really going to do anything with it per se. But like I said, that's not the story they wanted to tell. Fulya, do you have any thoughts on the way they dealt with this issue in this episode, or do you agree or disagree with what I just said?
Honestly, the fact that they just touched on it rather than going too deep into it, I don't think for this particular episode they really needed to go too in depth about it, and especially considering the fact that this cinema was abandoned, and like it got shut down because of the incident, and then they rock up in the middle of the night, in this time, and maybe they just came across people that were okay with the idea, with the fact that, you know, there's two colored people coming into the diner or going into the cinema, and they were fine with it. But there were maybe other people outside of that who wouldn't have liked it if they saw them.
Yeah.
And we just
'Cause-
didn't get to see them.
No, because the only time we see any white people react unfavorably towards them is during that moment that's been crafted by Mr. Ringading by Lux.
Yes. Yes.
That's the only time we see that kind of manifest.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Exactly. So I don't think it was a huge issue that they touched on it but didn't delve into it more. Um they at least mention it at the start, being like, hey, we're in 1952, colored people aren't favored in this time, so be careful,
Yeah.
essentially.
The Doctor does a good job of setting that up for Belinda, and
Yeah.
I do like that little line he has about, like, you know, I just accept it and I get on with it, and I look. What did he say? Something about looking great while doing it, or something. Like he made it. He put it on himself and took control
Yeah.
of how he feels about it, because he's like,
Yeah,
I've seen
exactly.
it all. I've been through time there and back again so often, you know. So I like that aspect of it too.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't have a huge issue with how they sort of touched on it, so it's
Mm.
fine. Yeah.
Mike, did you have any thoughts on how they handled the race issue in this episode?
Probably the same. It's good that they actually touch on it, because otherwise it would just be a big lumbering elephant in the room. Considering, yeah, both your leads are people of color. Good that they did that, because otherwise it would have been another aspect of the entire episode, and they wouldn't it wouldn't be much room for that, because that would be a big albatross for the episode. I mean, we sort of did something similar with the Rosa episode, considering the race relations with people of that time, and yeah, I'm happy that they actually touched onto it, because it's quite glaringly obvious, and even people watching it is like, "Ooh, are you sure you want to go here?" Like, especially segregated America during the 50s. I mean, civil rights doesn't happen for at least a decade, so cool. But on with the show, I guess. Like what they did with the
show.
With the thing, yeah.
Yes. Cool. Well, let's talk about the villain of the episode, Mr. Ringading, Lux Imperator, the god of light. Very, very good villain this episode. Really, really good. And as soon as I loved how they did the reveal of the word harbinger on the cinema marquee. That was very, very cool. And then immediately my brain went to last season with the musical god. I've forgotten their name. But that character, and I'm like, I bet, yeah, Muse or whatever they were called. They're connected to them, and then connected to the other fucking god. I can't remember the name of the one that's attached to the TARDIS.
Sutek.
Was it the Toy Maker?
Sutek, yeah, Sutek.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
God of Death.
you kind of just God of Death. So just basically by, like, they probably didn't need to show us those flashes of those characters, but I suppose it helps in connecting the pieces, because I felt like Shooty Gatwa's performance in that moment, yeah, I think he did a really good job of selling just how bad the situation they are that they're in with this character. Like, when he realizes who they're dealing with, I thought the shock on his face and the dialogue he had to say as well, I thought that was done very well. But yeah, I really loved him as a villain. Like, you know, not very often that we get, you know, a kids friendly animated character used to be just this twisted's the wrong word, but like, you know, he's the god of light. He's so far above humans. And I loved that line the Doctor said to Belinda about how, like, there are things bigger than this universe or outside of this galaxy that we, you know, don't understand, or whatever he says. And like, but whenever these gods choose to look on us, we need to fear the safety of our very reality. It was very chilling, the way he delivered that, and I was like, oh my god! Like, so they did a very good job of setting up how, you know, sinister he is and how concerned they should be. But I thought he was great, and I liked how they used him. Like, he kind of, the whole episode I was like, well, they're going to defeat him, but how they're going to defeat him, I was wondering. I mean, we'll talk about the ending, I'm sure, later, but for me it all worked. Everything made sense, and like, the stakes were really high in this episode as well. Again, we know the Doctor's going to live and it's going to be fine, but the fact that, you know, he came that close to killing the Doctor, and in a way that made sense and didn't seem outrageous or anything, and fit in line with the story, like, it just all worked really, really well. So yeah, and Alan Cummings' performance as the character just really encapsulated, like, because obviously he's Lux's, and he's taken on the characteristics of Mr. Ring-a-Ding as well. So he's not just this malevolent god from deep space or whatever. He is this animated character that he has chosen to inhabit. So he has all the catchphrases, like the "Don't make me laugh" and the, you know, all the little mannerisms and stuff. But the way he balances the sinister with the safe in there, I thought was very cool. So yeah, I liked Lux. I liked Mr. Ring-a-Ding. And the way they framed and shot the interaction with the 2D character versus the real world, like, it's obviously they've come leaps and bounds since Who Framed Roger Rabbit back in the day, but like, it was really, really cool, the way it worked. Fulya, what did you think of Mr. Ring-a-Ding, Mr. Lux, our bad guy?
Yeah, it was an interesting concept to have as a enemy for Doctor Who, and the fact that it's an animated character who feeds off light and, you know, wants more of it to become live action again, or to be able to live and all that, like, just to be outside of the cinema, as it were, because he's stuck there. So that's why he gets the caretaker of the cinema to continuously play these films, because it's feeding him light. I actually was a little creeped out by Mr. Ring-a-Ding. I won't lie. Just the way, it's just this sinister sort of evil smile, the way that he speaks, so sarcastic. And but the persona of Ring-a-Ding was just very, like, you know, happy-go-lucky and just of its time kind of animations, like 2D animations back then. And so they sort of hit the nail on their head with that, in terms of bringing an animation of that time to life. So I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. The coloring of the character was interesting as well. You know, blue sort of a face, this really sort of like a pig snout, and Belinda even, like, points them out, as, you know, as they get closer and closer to to Mr. Ring-a-Ding on the stage when they first meet him. And that kind of had me thinking, oh no, they're gonna trigger him and make him mad, like, even though he's like, don't make me laugh. No, like, it was, yeah, Mr. Ring-a-Ding. What a name too, Mr. Ring-a-Ding. And his little jingle that he has in the film that he's in. Yeah, like, it is a very interesting character that I never thought I would be creeped out by. But I'm glad we got to come across him, and yeah, like it was fun to say the least. But I was just like so worried for the Doctor and everybody else, and I'm like, oh no, this is not going to go well. But I like the idea as well of the whole thing. He is Lux. He is one of the harbingers, and when that scene happens where the cinema letters like and they fall and all you see is H Arbinger, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay, I see what they did there. We're not out of the woods with these gods just yet, it seems. So no, yeah. Lux. Yes.
Very good. Nice. Thank you, Fulya. I will admit too, I did get creeped out by him once, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, when he started becoming live action. And the teeth and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's another whole. We'll get to it. Pin it.
We'll get to it. Let's put a pin in it.
Yes.
Mike, what did you make of Lux, of Mr. Ring-a-Ding? Does he go down as an all-timer Doctor Who villain, or what do you think?
I reckon so, but the unfortunate thing is, new series has a bit of a problem with of villains. They're usually a one and done. There's no reoccurrings. So, but I do enjoy the fact that that this one will be a standout villain. And going on to just briefly on the when becoming real, it did give me. And speaking of Stephen King, it does give me Pennywise vibes. There's a sort of eyes going out the middle and just his teeth and everything. As I said, I really enjoy the sort of premise of actually a cartoon come to life and how would that affect the world, and not necessarily just like this creature coming to life. It's more to do with light, so it's more scientific that light, if we're going by physics, light is sort of a mesh between particles as well as of waves as well. So it's sort of more of a not biological sort of thing, but it is something that once we put a light on something, our view of it can change no matter of the light. Like case in point, the dress, the weird dress of is it blue and black or is it gold and white? It's sort of it's both actually, because some people are sensitive to light in a certain way, to other people a certain way. So it's sort of dwelling towards that, which I really enjoy. I'm actually quite happy that they're sort of still doing this sort of the Pantheon Discord, which is great. These so you can add on to all these other things, and they sort of have an overarching sort of connection to it. And I really enjoy that thing because it also connects itself with classic Doctor Who as well as the new Doctor Who as well, because there's sort of a retroactively like putting past villains into the discourse as well, which is great. Alan Cummings is awesome. Do not recognize his voice, and I was actually trying to think. He's Scottish, right? Because everything that I've seen, he doesn't use his original accent, except for that post-credit scene in the Spice Girls movie, that he actually plays himself in that, but he's doing a British voice, and you know, just to add on to this, it is still really cool that he's actually coming back in Doomsday as a Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Which is great. Maybe as a computer computer version of himself. I don't know if he wants to do that. If he wants to do the blue face, I don't know. And another thing, he's doing blue face in this as well. So all the connections. I love
all the connections.
I love the fact that they are harking on to different sort of elements of animation as well, especially with the rubbery hose sort of, well, cup man and mug man, Cuphead. That's it, Cuphead and Mugman.
Cuphead,
and also,
yeah, Cuphead.
And also the gloves as well, speaking as like a bit of a racial thing. Like all these sort of rubbery hose cartoons are definitely harkens to black and white minstrel sort of shows as well. So there's a sort of a continuation on that of how race is sort of dealt with this episode as well. So it's kind of a good connection with that as well. Yeah, I just really like this episode as well as the villain with it, and how they sort of delve into what their power is as well, of actually putting people into celluloid, and as well as taking them and putting them in this sort of dimension of either 2D, 3D, and trying to get out of it, and what is real and what is not, and there's sort of the strange narrative. And I was just waiting for them to like break the fourth wall as well, but I did not expect them to actually break the fourth wall into someone's living room, which we can probably get
like
into
literally, yeah.
Because I lost my shit with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love Lux.
I want to get into it in a second.
Yeah.
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 I'm good.
Great. Greatly said, Mike. Greatly said. Yeah, we'll get into, as you've just mentioned, the fourth wall breaking moment. Like, I really liked, to touch on the animation for a second, like, because that all leads into the, when Lux puts them into an animation cell, and then the way that they try and figure out how to get out of it. And I kind of loved, because like just before it they set it up with Lux. He had a line where he said, "I'm a two-dimensional character, you can't expect backstory." And I just thought that was so clever. Because he is 2D, but then like one of the criticisms people like us have of film and TV is when characters are two-dimensional, when they have no depth. And here we then get to see the Doctor and Belinda realizing we have to give our characters depth, so we can become ourselves again, become 3D and live action after that. I thought that was so well done. I really liked it a lot. And then that, of course, then leads to them trying to figure out how to get out of the film that they're in, and they try, scanning through all of that jazz. And then they end up literally breaking the fourth wall. You see them realize that there's a glass screen in front. They need to break through it, and they do. And I was so shocked to see them step out of a flat screen TV. I was like, hang on a second, what's happening here? And then we see them stand in this living room, and in the living room watching the TV are 3 Doctor Who fans.
Watching Doctor Who.
And oh man, this was so good. Like, this was my favorite scene of the whole episode. Yeah, it was just so good, just seeing these 3 characters, meeting the characters of their favorite TV show, and the way they reacted by hugging them and stuff and all this, and like inviting them to sit down and just telling them, no, you're not real, you're in a show, and this is your story, and this is what you're doing. And then like, they drop details about Belinda, and like, how do you know about my mum being a violinist, all this stuff. So it's the banter in that scene is just excellent. I loved it. But then the more it goes along, they flip it and turn it into the fact that Lux has actually created them as part of the whole thing. And they're not real either. But they're self-aware. They know they're not real, and they know as soon as the scene is over that they're going to stop. They're going to die, basically.
I love the fact that they wrote into it that the reason why they know they're not real is because they're a fan of the Doctor.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Yeah.
they know what is actually happening. So that's pretty cool. It's sort of a good admission that Doctor Who fans know they know that they are good at spotting details as well as not knowing stuff as well, and they're a bit quirky as well. So it's a good saying thanks to the fans in a way, which is good because it could be very heavy-handed, especially when it's like, oh, I already knew because there was a leak online. It's like, yeah, that stuff sort of happens.
Yeah, that was fun, and like the comments about being we know we're annoying and all of this was funny. But no, I love that, and I love that they got to come back in the end credits as well. And then they had that moment of like, we're not dead, we're still here. That was beautiful. And I wanted to point out one quick thing before I throw to Fulia and her thoughts. So there's a moment in the scene where they acknowledge that that they're not important, and that their job is to be here and then to go, because they don't have last names. They're just one named characters. I was just looking at the IMDb just to have the cast listing up, so in case I needed to reference anything, and I found they actually all have last names. Oh, they gave them last names, so they're not just their first names. They actually have full names, and I just thought that was really sweet and really nice. So yeah, I loved that scene. Best scene in the episode, easily for me. I loved it. Fulia, how did you feel about? I know you talked on briefly about the short time of animation. I talked about why you stepped away, about how the Doctor and Belinda figured out that they needed to give themselves depth in order to.
I've got wireless headphones. I was listening.
Amazing. Technology, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
But yes, if you're just listening to this, you can't see that I still have wired headphones. I'm very old. Anyway, but yeah. So you heard all of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on the animation sequence and then how it led into this beautiful fourth wall break with the Whovians on the couch.
Yeah, look, like I said when we started talking about this, I was a little disappointed with the lack of animation that we got of Belinda and the Doctor, but it kind of made up for it in a way with the way that they got out of being animated. And like the way that you mentioned, the fact that they needed depth to then become more 3D to then become live action. I actually like that they put that in. That was very clever of the writers to chuck that in. Very clever indeed. And by the time they trying to figure out how to get out of the screen, essentially, trying to pull down and get the film to keep going faster so that they come into this sort of white subliminal space where there's nothing at all, to then finding out that, oh wait, maybe we need to head towards the screen and then we can get out of it, because that's how Mr. Ring-a-Ding ended up coming out. He broke the fourth wall and climbed out of the cinema screen. But like you, Kendall, I was also shocked to find they were coming out of an LCD TV in a more modern era. And I'm like, huh? What is happening? And then the moment they turn to the Whovian fans, I'm like, oh, no way they're doing this. They're actually making it so that the audience is in the show, expressing how they feel about the show to these characters directly. That had me smiling to no end. I was just like, I was giggling. I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, well done. They know their audience. They know their fans. and it was really cool that they did that. There, and then when it turned to the whole that concept of them not actually being real because Lux created this little part of the world, my heart broke for him, and I'm like, oh, but that's us. But it was so nice that they had this sort of heartwarming speech for him, being like, look, you're gonna be fine, just get back in there, even though once you go we're gonna be gone, you're gonna be able to save the world and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it was like they were great. Hassan, Lizzie, and Robin, they were great. I really enjoyed their little sort of banter, and especially when they sat down to have a cup of coffee or tea with the doctor and Belinda, and it was just really really fascinating to sort of see from an audience, from a fan point of view, what the fans would say to these characters, you know? It was actually quite fun. I really enjoyed that. And I'm just trying to remember, did they climb back into the TV? I don't think they showed us that, did they? I don't think they did.
No, because what happened was that one of the fan characters, she pulled down the thing like the doctor and
that's right.
And they went back to the white
film. Yeah. That makes more sense. Yeah. No, that whole sort of scenario was really cool. But I love that they added in a little sort of mid-credit scene of them being alive again. I'm like, oh yay! So yeah, no, all of that was really cool. I like that. Yeah,
nice. Mike, you already touched on some of your thoughts of it. Do you want to expand on any of what you've already said?
Yeah. I really enjoy. I actually enjoyed it so immensely. But then I was thinking, oh, you've written yourself into a hole of your main character realizing that they are a fictional character in a TV show. Where are you going to go from here? So it's kind of fitting that they did a little bit of a backtrack. It's like, no, you are the real ones, but we're the fake ones. So it's sort of a get out of jail free card for that one. So yeah, it makes sense. But then you still do that post credit scene, and it's like, oh, it could be real, could be all real. Oh no. Yeah, I really enjoyed the banter. I've got every single DVD that's in the background as well, so I laughed at that. Also, I really enjoyed the fact that Russell T even has basically admitted, yeah, Blink was like the better episode than out of his run, and unfortunately, it was a Stephen Moffat one, so he sort of has to eat crow for that one. And I was thinking maybe you can have one of the characters that says, well, it's not as good as the classic series, because that's also another complaint that old Whovians used to like spout out all the time, even with like New Who, and you can like both, but the conversation with the Blink one, it sort of made up for that. Yeah, definitely lethargic, and well, not lethargic, just fun in general, and just where do you go from here? And that's the sort of thing that I was actually sort of a complaint. They could have done more with it as well, like entering like different shows or anything like that. But then your episode is going to be extra longer, so you have to cut where you need to be. So definitely enjoyed this part. So ending.
Yeah, let's go into the ending. Okay. Yes. So, yes, the Doctor and Belinda get out of the world that world of film that Lux put them in, and then as the Whovian fans, quote unquote, set up that, you know, well, you've clearly already stated how this is going to end with all the film catching fire and blowing up, and that's pretty much exactly how it happens, but the way it goes down, I thought was really well executed, and it wasn't done in the way that we kind of expected it to, at least for me. It wasn't. I liked how they used Mr. Pie, the projectionist, in this episode too. Like, as he wasn't against Lux. He was very aware that Lux was not a good guy because of what he did to the people in the audience, but he knew, like, Lux gave him his wife back through that film reel, and I thought that was really beautiful and very well done, and that added some depth to his character. But then he realized by the end that, you know, he had to do the right thing, and you know, after his wife comes to him and at the end there as well, and tells him, you know, to let her go, essentially. And then yeah, he ends up being the one to sacrifice himself to blow everything up. But that's all comes after, you know, Lux realizes, after the Doctor heals himself using his regenerative abilities, that what he's made of, and how he can exploit that to become a real person. So he uses. So it's interesting that, like, this. I found it interesting that from one angle, the episode talks about 2D characters giving themselves death to become 3D. But for some reason, Lux, because he's the god of light, it works differently for him, I suppose. So, and because the Doctor has his regenerative power, and Lux sees the light within him and is like, okay, your light is used to make physical form, so I can steal your light and become physical. And then he does that whole thing, and then we get to see creepy, weird 3D rendered Mr. Ringading, which was just, it was gross. But then I found it interesting that he then reverted back to 2D as he got bigger as well. Because once the explosion happened, and then the sunlight came in, and then he just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the Doctor, you know, points out how that all works and how he kind of disappears into the stars. Like, you know, he's the god of light, and he absorbed so much of it, he became the light itself. And he also points out, well, that's why he didn't want to go outside, like why he didn't want to leave the theater. But then, I mean, at least for me, the way I reconciled it in my head was, the sun. It was too late for him when the sun hit him, and he couldn't resist the pull and resist the light. Like, being the god of light, I guess he knew that it would be his end, but he also went into it with a smile on his face. So I found that interesting. But yeah.
My God, it's full of stars.
But I thought it was a really great ending. Because I said before, like, how are they going to put a stop to him? He's a god. And then the Doctor does it in this easy way. I mean, he nearly dies in the process, but then, you know, after Mr. Pie sacrifices himself, and that's it. And then, yeah, because the film caught on fire, the 15 audience members were released and reunited with their loved ones, and yeah, that was really sweet. So it was a really sweet ending and really nice, and all of that. And then, but then, you know, then they realize they've got to go, and they take off. And then Mrs. Flood is there. Of course, Mrs. Flood is there. Miss time traveling somehow, Mrs. Flood.
There's gonna be something about
something
her.
with her. Yeah.
No. Red herring.
She's just always going to be there. But yeah, I like the ending. I love this episode. I think I've become more of a fan of it as we've been unpacking it and discussing it. So this is definitely maybe my favorite episode of Shooty Gut was Doctor Who run so far. So Fulya, take it away. Your thoughts on the ending of the episode.
Yeah, let me just first off start off with the fact that the live action version of Mr. Ringading or Lux was hideous, creeped me the hell out, and I did not like it. I was like, this is gross. Why? Why did they have to make him gross? But I suppose if they're literally rendering a 2D character to 3D to look the same, it's gonna look like that, and it's terrible. And I feel like this is where they're potentially touching on the idea of the whole live action, the animation to live action adaptation thing that's happening in the entertainment industry right now.
Are you saying this is a swipe at Disney? Pretty ballsy being on a Disney show.
On a Disney platform, yeah, true. Yeah, like it was just really interesting that they decided to go that way with the adaptation of this character. But I actually did like the way it ended, where it's like, first of all, I'm like, oh crap, he's getting all of the light now. Now it's just gonna be, he's gonna just keep growing and growing, and then it's not gonna stop. It's gonna be monster and terrorize this town. But apparently, no, he just keeps growing because it's infinite light. It's the sun, and it just evaporates and becomes light. And I was like, oh, okay, well. And it was, for him, it was more like a moth to a flame almost. It's like, I see the lights, and it just keeps going.
I can't help it. It's
I
so
can't
beautiful.
help it. Oh, kudos to anyone who got that reference. Only the Australians. But yeah, no, it was a really great way that they ended this particular episode, and how it saved the 15 people that were trapped in the film. And yeah, it just, like, it was a really nice ending, to say the least. That's yeah.
Nice. All right, Mike, take us home. Your thoughts on the ending of this episode?
I did like this ending on how it actually ended, of it being sort of like that parable in I think it's a 1001 Arabian Night, one of the tales, where someone finds a lamp and a genie, and the genie's evil, and they're trying to outwit the genie. It's like, I'd bet you can't do this, and they do a couple of trials, and then the genie ends up, there's like, you can't drink all the water in the world, and the genie drinks, it's like, I bet I can, and drinks all the water and then explodes because it's too much water. So it's sort of that parable of using the elements to outwit your opponent. And I do like the fact that sometimes the easiest way is to do that, instead of, like, fisticuffs or anything like that. Just use the elements around you to actually save the world. And yeah, I did like that ending. And some people might say it's a cop out, but I don't think so. It's just the matter of just absorbing so much, and you just become one with the world, and sort of like, yes, he's always out there, but he's infinite, and he's nothing, and all that, and he becomes a religion. There you go. So will this have like ripple effects in the future episodes? Don't know how they're going to do that, but I don't think this is going to be the end of Lux in a way. I think maybe something will happen by the end, but that's just my theory brain going crazy. The 15 people coming back is great, because we don't know how they got into the celluloids, but we don't know how they came out. So it's sort of a good poetic way of ending up of everything like falling into place, and a bittersweet ending, because we did have the sacrificial lamb of Pi. And yeah, it's just a great episode. And I will return watching this as well, because there's a lot of more things to pick out as well. And yeah, and then the Whovians come back, because we always come back. We always come back to Doctor Who. No matter how far we go out, we always come back in. No matter how far I go, they pull me back in. And so on. And also, I can't hear you, Kendall. And Mrs. Flood's here as well, just to be more creepy.
Yes, more creepy. Creepy Flood.
Who are you?
Creepy.
Who are you? Give me the
Maybe
answers.
she's the overarching villain we've wanted all along, Mrs. Flood.
But she's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Totally sweet. All right. That'll do it for our thoughts on Doctor Who Series 2, Episode 2, Lux. All safe to say, we all absolutely enjoyed this one a lot. So looking forward to where the season is headed next week into outer space.
Space.
Space. Looks like a high stakes, high tension episode, so I'm keen to see what they're doing here. But until then, that's the show. That's Talkin' Who, Popcorn Culture done, and we are getting out of here. A 1, a 2, a 3.
And
that
was a
podcast
podcast
called
Fred.
Fred.
Delay even worse.
Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky for the latest Fred content.
If you'd like to...
If you'd like to listen to Fred the Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Your go, Fulya.
Okay, now it's my turn. If you'd like to watch Fred the Alien, you can head over to youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're watching us right now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on future content like this one. And if you're watching us live over on Twitch, make sure to give us a follow. Twitch.tv/Fred the Alien Twitch.
Yes, I've been a Kendall Richardson.
I've been a Fulya Kantarmaja.
And I've been the Easter Bunny Harbinger himself, I'm Michael Lister.
And
you just experienced a podcast called
Fred.
Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and don't make me laugh. Ha 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 ha.
Happy Easter, everyone, and make sure to look after yourself and your mental health.
Yes,
True that.
yes. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, ladies and gamers.
And see.
See.